Fighting is one of the most purest forms of masculine essence. And fighting is simply just imposing your will on someone through various tactics and movements to dominate them. But it's not that. That's not the reason why I study fighters. There's two reasons. One is flow state. And two is the mind's eye. If you had to put it to one thing that men have been doing for thousands of years, it's been combat in some sort of way. Whether it's with gloves on, or with swords, or on horse chariots, on any of these things. We've all been fighting for thousands of years, up until maybe recently. So I truly believe one of the best things that you can do as a young man, maybe around my age, maybe a bit younger or a bit older, the best thing that you can do is get punched in the face every once in a while. Because as soon as that happens, as soon as you've taken a shot to the liver or a shot to the face, you are instantly brought into the present. You're no longer thinking about what's for dinner tonight. You're no longer giving a fuck about what you're doing on the weekend. There is a guy in front of you who's about to hit you again, and your breathing just disrupted from the last punch. So are you going to move, or are you just going to eat the other punch? That is what I call getting into the zone. When you are fighting, nothing quite feels like when you're in the zone. It's when you've taken a few punches and you've given a few back, and then you just become one with the sport almost. It's so hard to explain, but all the pain goes away. You don't feel the punches. You do everything on automatic. If you were trying to learn the footwork, you'd do it instantly anyways. You're slipping, you're rolling, you're kicking. You don't give thought to it. You're just in the moment. And that is one of the best feelings of flow state. I've been in many different types of flow state, and fighting is definitely my favorite. The only thing that comes a little bit close to it is going really fucking fast in a car. That's the only thing that comes slightly close to it. But fighting is by far my favorite version of flow state. Flow state is simply, when you're one with the task. So, you probably had an assignment that's due the next day, and you procrastinated, but then you just locked the fuck in for like 2 hours, and then after that you were sort of exhausted mentally. That's the flow state. It can be with anything, to be honest. And meditation helps with it a lot. And then you have the mindset. The mind's eye, I guess. But it's more mindset based. 2 months out, UFC fighters go to their training camps. Some of them do. 2 months out, most UFC fighters are already in their training camps for their next fight. And every single time they wake up, every single meal that they have, every single thing that they do is leading up to trying to beat this opponent that they have. Like, simply just imagine the hunger that you need to do that. To eat right every single meal, to the last grain of rice. To wake up and go to sleep at the exact same time. And if you're at that level, if you are just below professional or at professional, you're young, you're probably in the top 0.1% of physical shape. If you're professional, you have money. Like, imagine Mike Tyson when he was 22. In shape, ripped, rich. Bro. I'm so obsessed with fighters because imagine the pure level of delusion to think that you would make it. Especially in fighting of all sports, yet alone any sport. Is that they believe that they can not only beat their opponent, but they can beat the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. It takes a certain level of visualization and belief to actually make it as a fighter. Obviously, I've never actually had an official fight. Just want to put it out there. I'm just saying that every single fighter out there, I bet you some of them have some sort of visualization routine. They can see them winning the belt. They can actually see it. Not only just think it and believe it, but they see it in their mind that they are who they say they are. But back to the point of masculinity, I think that UFC and boxing show the biggest gap in men. And it's complacency. It's not dissatisfaction or greed. I don't think it's any of those. I actually think it's just complacency. Because most men out there, once they get the girl, once they get the job, once they have the shit that they sort of want but they're okay with, it's alright. Like, it's not my dream car, it's not a GTR, but it's like a kind of nice Lexus. I'll take it, yeah. That girl, she's kind of hot, she's my girlfriend. That's enough to put him off track and make him not give a fuck anymore. He doesn't give a shit about any goal that he has anymore. And that's exactly what happens with empires. Why grow more? We already have everything we want, so why would we go conquer more? What I mean by complacency is that it's not just with the micro. In fact, it's not even with the micro. If you had one of your friends who's reasonably complacent and you take him to the gym with you, he would actually hit a pretty good workout with you. But it's on the long-term scale of things that really shows who they are. All this to say that my main point is there's a reason why so many UFC fighters, I think probably all of them, grew up and had somewhat of a shitty childhood. They didn't grow up in the nice house. They didn't grow up anywhere pleasant. And they saw fighting as their only escape from their current situation. And as the old saying goes, hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Join my Discord, link is in the description. I'm slowly growing it. Peace.